As you probably can see in some of the videos that I've been shooting, it's been sort of a hybrid recently, talking a little bit about life philosophy and talking a little bit about plastic surgery, and maybe because I'm running out of ideas to talk about plastic surgery. But also I think it's because it's very important. I write a blog every day about personal development, and I think the audience may not be as broad as I would like as my videos. So I actually want to sort of dovetail into thinking a little bit more about life philosophical perspectives. Now, why is that important if you are considering plastic surgery? And maybe it's not even important if you are or you're not, but to me it's an integral part of my life, and I wanted to share that with you. I find that people that are seeking plastic surgery may need some of the wisdom that is imparted in these books that I've read, partly because, one, if they're having corrective procedures done, there's an element of sort of lack of trust, and perhaps they're not really being forgiving of their own previous experience, whether it be the surgeon or themselves. There also can be just the idea that people that want facial cosmetic enhancement want to be their best. And it means what clothes you choose, what food you eat, what people you interact with, and I think this is just a part of that extension. I was talking to some of my in-laws last week, and it's my sister's husband's parents, and they're both actually Episcopalian priests, and they're saying, and I was telling them, I said, you know, I write the blogs for myself. I don't want people to think I'm sermonizing or preaching to them. And she said, you know, the difference between a good and a bad preacher, the bad preacher thinks he's preaching at other people, and the good preacher knows he's preaching to himself. So really, this is not meant for me to talk down to you or feel like you're being lectured at. It's actually things that I've learned that I just want to impart that wisdom. It's not my wisdom, it's wisdoms of people that I've read. So I want to share with you just some of the ideas from 3 books that have made a profound impact in my life over the last 6 months to a year. The first book is The Four Agreements. The Four Agreements is written by Don Miguel Ruiz, and it's imparting Toltec wisdom. The concept behind this book essentially is a very simple manual of how to live your life, and I actually try to live by the Four Agreements on a daily basis. And the Four Agreements, simply put, are: number 1, be impeccable with your word. And the Latin word for impeccable, what that means is to be without sin. Now, none of us are without sin, but the concept behind this is just to be as clean as you can with the way you speak, not gossiping about someone else, not ganging up together and talking about someone, not saying, oh, that person is terrible. It's just being as clean as you can with your tongue and your voice so that you are correct with yourself. The second one is not to take anything personally. I think this is something that's oftentimes very difficult, because oftentimes when someone says you're ugly, you're fat, you're stupid, honestly it oftentimes reflects more on the person saying it than the person receiving it. It's usually an insecurity. If I say, oh, you're fat, it's usually because I'm struggling with my own weight. If I say you're stupid, it's usually because I've been called that, I've been struggling with myself. So those are things that are very important that I try to work with, even for myself on a daily basis. The third thing is to really to never make assumptions about anything, and that means, you know, you say, oh, that person said something and therefore that person's bad. You know, I like this saying is that we judge other people by their intentions, and we judge ours by we judge other people by their actions, and we judge ourselves by our intention. Meaning, oh, I didn't mean anything bad. I certainly not a bad person, but that person did something bad, therefore that person's bad. And so to not make assumptions about things in life and about people's actions. And the final thing is to always do your best. And what does that mean exactly? Does that mean to really work your butt off and work like a crazy person? Absolutely not. It actually means just do. And always to say, look, if I gave my best, that's all I need to give. So an example in the book that I thought was quite profound is a person went to a religious master and said, great enlightened one, tell me, how do I become enlightened? And the master said, well, go back and meditate every single day. Every single day, meditate. And he says, how long? He says, 4 hours. He says, okay, great. How long will it take me to achieve enlightenment if I meditate every day for 4 hours? And the master said, it will take you 10 years. He says, oh, wonderful. So what if I have an idea. Why don't I go ahead and meditate for 8 hours a day? How long will it take me to achieve enlightenment at that point? He said, 20 years. He said, wait a second. If I meditate twice as long, it's going to take me another 10 years to achieve enlightenment? Yeah. Why? I don't get it. He says, well, you may not even need to meditate. And the point is, all you need to do in life is to do your best. If you need to do more than you need to do, then that's not going to achieve happiness. It's going to actually be counterproductive. So I think that's a good story. The second book that's been really powerful in the way that I live my life today is Eckhart Tolle's Power of Now. It's a beautiful book that basically helps you focus on the current day and to see where you are now. We too often sit here thinking in the next 10 minutes what I have to do, what am I going to eat for lunch, where do I have to be, what are my plans for the next week, and we're not living in the moment right now. And if you think about it, the only time we have to live is in the current moment right now. We can't live in the future, we can't live in the past. Or oftentimes we live in the past, oh, I regret I had done that, or this is so terrible, I can't believe this is that way. And honestly, the only time we can really live is right now. We can't even taste our food if we're living the future or the past. I want to tell you a story of a patient of mine that I had done some corrective work on, actually quite a bit of corrective work on, and he seemed still sad, and I couldn't quite understand why he was still so pensive. And what my mentor told me is in one of my videos I shot was happiness comes from within. You can't buy happiness with plastic surgery. You can't buy it with almost anything. And he was very sad. It took me a little while to get him through this. I actually spent a few of my lunch hours talking to him. And I had him read these books, and there was a change in his life. I saw it in about probably 2 sessions. I'm not trying to play psychologist, but I just want my patients to be happy. It's a very simple formula. How do you be happy? He read the 2 books, The 4 Agreements and The Power of Now. And it's an amazing change in his life. He said something to my mother. He didn't tell me this, but he said he hadn't tasted food for many years now. He couldn't even taste the beauty of food. He couldn't even taste it. And he said he feels now as free as he did since when he was a child at 9 years of age running with his father in a field. I think it's a profound comment. What changed in those 4 weeks? Was it my cosmetic work that I did for him? Not at all. None of that work seemed to matter that much. It was a more profound shift in his attitude and his person that to me was wonderful. The final book that I just read recently, I'm doing a series of blogs coming up, is by Wayne Dyer, who's had a profound influence in my life. His book is called Excuses Be Gone. And what this book, and I really encourage you to listen to his audiobook as well. His audiobook is basically not his book. It's almost a companion. It's what do you call it? It's his live seminar he did in Hawaii, and to me it's amazing. Listening to his voice is actually quite soothing, and it's quite refreshing to hear this different perspective. And in a summary of the book, and I won't do it justice by a few comments, is that oftentimes when we have excuses in a life, we blame our parents, we blame our DNA. And there was an operation, there was a case study that was quite interesting. There was an orthopedic surgeon that did a sham operation. Half the people got actually arthroscopic procedures to help with cartilage tears, etc. And half, all he did was he made an incision, sprayed some water, made some noise, and closed the incision. And he found afterwards that the results were that both parties actually got as much improvement. In fact, some people that couldn't even walk were playing basketball. And that just shows you the power of the mind. We oftentimes discount the power of the mind to influence our body. We use our own limitations of, I'm not rich enough, I'm not smart enough, I don't have enough opportunities in life, my parents abused me, they left me as an orphan. And actually, Wayne Dyer was an orphan. He went through alcoholism, he went through a lot of abusive things in his own life, and he gave it up. And you know, all of us are not a perfect creature. We're still in a journey, myself included. You know, life is a journey. And it's really great to have these great mentors out there to help us. So I think that if you have time, if you can read these, oh, actually I want to tell you one more story. I think it's a beautiful story. And I'll just close with this. He closed with this in his PBS series. Wayne Dyer did it. He's told the story of a woman by a river. And the woman was looking for something. She was looking and she found this beautiful jewel, this gorgeous jewel. And she said, this is fantastic. I'm now secure, I'm safe. She put the jewel into her knapsack. And then a day went by, and a gentleman that was homeless, who was impoverished, came by and asked the woman, he said, can I have some food, please? She said, yeah, I can get some food. So she reached into her knapsack to take some bread to give to him. As she reached in, the man spied the beautiful jewel inside. And he said, ma'am, could I please have the jewel instead? And the man, of course, thought the same thing. He would have security in the future and everything he would ever want in his life with his jewel. The woman actually, without thinking, took the jewel out and handed it to him. And he ran off with it in joy and glee. He came back the next day, and he handed the jewel back to the woman. And the woman said, what are you doing? He goes, I don't want the jewel. What I want is what you had inside of you to give me the jewel. I think that's a beautiful story, and I think that's how we should live life. So those are just some thoughts that, that hopefully you can learn from. Maybe share those books with other people that are in your life. And maybe if you are seeking cosmetic surgery, maybe those books are things that you need to resolve in your heart, as I am doing myself, before you come to see me, or even afterwards. And those are elements that I think that we all can be our best, and to offer love and peace to everyone in this world. Thank you.